We're talking to Dr. Paruchuri from Tennessee State University, and the topic is Hinduism and other religions in religious faiths in India. And of course, Dr. Paruchuri, as we promised during the latter part of the first segment, that we would give you an opportunity to talk about the variety of religious experiences and religious faiths in India. So let's have you to do that now.
Okay, Hinduism is a very ancient religion, and the people cannot really define exactly what Hinduism is, because it stands for a variety of things, and it has different components like all religions, a ritualistic component, and then of course a component of absolute metaphysical angle to it. But even though Hinduism is a very ancient language, over a period of time different religions have been introduced to India, and many Indians have also embraced these other religions for one reason or the other. So today India is multi-religious. We have, to begin with, we had Muslims who came into the country, but although history has it that there are also Jews who came, early settlers who from other religion were of Jewish origin. And then of course we had Muslims. Although Muslims conquered India, they were Muslim emperors who were extremely accommodating, very tolerant towards Hindus, and Hindus and Muslim rulers seemed like did not have that much of friction, at least in terms of their ruling, because they needed, of course, the native people, people of India also to cooperate with them in administration, etc. Later on, Christianity was introduced, and I cannot say it is just any one single denomination of Christianity that was introduced in India. There are several denominations of Christianity in India. The story has it, St. Thomas, one of the proponents of Catholicism, came to India, and that he is entombed actually in my city. Then of course there are other denominations. Gradually Christian missionaries did very pioneering work in terms of spreading Christianity, and so you see many people also converting to Christianity in India, and it's more so in some parts of the country than in other parts. And they have done great pioneering work in terms of some regions where there's not been any kind of awareness to any type of modernity. So the Christians introduced education, modern education in these regions for people who had no idea about outside their own environment. So we have, other than Christianity, around 17th century, another religion which was also a part of which was accepted by the Hindus in the early period. This was the Sikh religion. Now, I must also add, along with, even before these religions came into existence, we have had Buddhism and Jainism. There are many Jains in the country today who believe in great non-violence, essentially. Like Hindus, and then the Buddhists, of course, as you know, also, their religion preaches non-violence, and then there are what you call Zoroastrians. These Zoroastrians, in terms of history, is that they came from Persia and settled in the northwestern part of India. So you see that India is multi-religious, and with this kind of variety of religions, one might think that there could have been a great deal of religious wars and friction. There is, quite a prejudice, which is common regardless of even if you do have a unified religion, there is prejudice, but there is also a lot of mutual tolerance and acceptance. And you will see in southern part of India, the tolerance towards Muslims and between Muslims and Hindus is, really great, because you do see Hindus or Muslims going to each other's religious functions, also the religious premises, and accepting each other's faith. Partly this may be because people in India have their own native tongue, and they communicate in the native tongue, and the culture is basically Indian culture. And consequently, even though these religions have come, their lifestyle basically is very peculiarly Indian. So you will see Muslims, when they go out of the country and to Muslim religions, or when Christians come to Christian countries, still their culture remains distinctly Indian. So, which may be somewhat surprising to Western observers, but even their faith, the way it practices, there is a way of native practice that you see in many parts of India. If there is any intoleration at all, that probably is because of politics. Like in all countries, when you introduce politics, say in a multi-religious, multicultural, multi-ethnic, what you have is politics. And when you have a democracy introduced, there's the great opportunity for people who run for office to use the religion or ethnicity or language as a base. And so frictions arise. So this is not to say that it is friction ridden to the point of great deal of violence constantly. India is a good example of very limited degree of violence.
Religious toleration.
Yeah, great degree of toleration. The kind of religious wars that you have, historically inherited in other parts of the world, they have not been so prevalent in India, at least in the earlier period. Once modernity came in, once you reintroduced politics, of course, you do see quite a bit of intolerance. But this is not principally because of the religious practice, so much of politicizing religion.
Okay, and it has very little to do with religion as such, but as you've indicated, it has more to do with politics.
Exactly.
And of course, everything was better before the introduction of politics modern politics into a religion. And of course, Dr. Paruchuri, that's exactly what we wanted to get from you during this second segment, because a large number of folks really don't understand exactly about the multiplicity of the religious experiences in India. And I think that what you've done, you've simply laid an excellent foundation for a understanding of that, and an individual can simply listen to some of the things that you've said about the various groups. And it is, I think, in a real sense, an education itself. And now we're saying that these religious groups are very, very important. But the next group that we want to talk about, I would imagine during this this final segment, will be the Hindu religion. And of course, we'll be able to get back to that following this very, very short commercial break. To Dr. Perry.